Cancer is one of those topics many people don't feel necessarily comfortable talking about, but it's very important that we raise the topic of conversation more or less to bring awareness to the subject hand and matter. I can say personally that my experience with cancer is my mom suffers from a rare form of cancer known as polycythemia vera, which is when her body makes too many red blood cells. And to elaborate on this, the effects that this can cause on her body is putting too much pressure on her heart to keep pushing out more blood, which in turn increases the pressure within her blood vessels, raising the risk for stroke. Her direct impact on the cancer itself was she has suffered two major strokes in the past and suffered a brain aneurysm as well in her second stroke that she recently suffered in, I want to say, I believe 2015 when I was a freshman in college. One of those topics that honestly doesn't really get talked about enough is just being the help that you can get as not just like as a cancer victim, but as someone who's dealing with someone else who has cancer. I know that prior to my experiences with my neighbor, Miss Kim, I never really had any personal connections with anyone who had to deal with something like this. So, in a sense, when I was going through the experiences that I was with my mother when she was going through it, Miss Kim actually allowed me to help me get through it. It was a very difficult time. It hit me kind of at a weird time, I want to say, during the middle of my second semester during my freshman year, right before finals. And Miss Kim really helped me stay in the game mentally so that I didn't fall behind in school and that I was able to stay on track. The negative impact of my mother having her second stroke was that she was forced out of work and she was forced into early retirement, which necessarily didn't affect me, but it affected her in the sense that her battle with cancer has been more mental than it has physical. Excuse me. Um, it's kind of hard to explain, but she just seemed to have lost some of her joy just going through the experiences in the beginning of it, and I guess that's expected. But as time went on, as she received more help from individuals such as Miss Kim and those who loved her, trying to give her constant motivation to help her get through the situation that she was going through, she was able to not necessarily overcome the hardships that she faced, but managed to be able to cope with it. I guess I could say her final coping mechanism was moving back home to where she grew up at and being around more family, as me being in school in Hampton, Virginia, and her being at home in Philadelphia kind of took its toll for the worse. She would be very lonely, and in a sense, it's better that she's in the position that she is in now, where she's able to be constantly watched by someone that loves her. And it's interesting how you don't want to necessarily admit it, but sometimes it's negative hardships that bring people closer together. And I can honestly say that I've never been closer with my mother because I'm constantly worried about her health just as much as she's constantly worried about me doing well in school. So it's kind of forced us to have that relationship where, oh, well, I'll do well if you do well, or if you do this, then I'll do this. And it's kind of interesting. I always have challenges with her. I'll tell her, if you lose 10 pounds, and I'll make sure I'll try and get a 4.0 this semester. And I guess you can say like it's little fun battles to try and keep away from the negative impacts of that the cancer has had on her. I was actually blessed with being able to get the Friends for Life scholarship this year, and I was very honored and just overfilled with joy to be able to have this opportunity, because at the time my mother didn't know how she was going to buy me a laptop. My MacBook had broke last semester and I was in need of a new one, and my mother honestly didn't have the money because she was recently, as I mentioned before, forced into early retirement. So she went from living paycheck to paycheck to literally living check by check each month. So she had to completely change her money management skills. And in reality, it just didn't seem like buying me a new laptop fit in with that. And the money that I made from the summertime honestly wasn't enough to be able to have money set aside for the semester as well as buying a laptop. But when Miss Kim gave me the opportunity to sign up for the scholarship, I definitely went for it, and I was very glad that I received it. I'm still blessed to this day, and I still use the laptop. I can't actually find it as of now, but I use it every day. It's my school laptop. The school actually gave me a laptop, but I still choose to use my own laptop because I just it's a very good laptop. And I made sure that the $1,000 that was blessed to me was put to good use. I do everything I possibly can on that laptop. Um, my words that I can say for future candidates is definitely apply for the scholarship. It's a worthwhile opportunity. You get to meet exciting people, regardless of whether you win or not. Just the experiences that you have and the interactions that you have with the people who run the organization is just, I can honestly say they're some of the most amazing people I've met in my life, and they're very personable. I had never met them prior to, I want to say, meeting them the first time, and when I had a conversation with them, I felt like I had known them from day one, as if they were like my neighbor Miss Kim, where they watched me grow up from the little boy across the street to the boy that's always coming across trying to get food from you. So I can honestly say that Friends for Life honestly is a family, and I'm blessed to be a part of it. And for anyone watching this video, is definitely a great thing to donate to. It's a great thing to get involved in, and just to be right mind, right with your body and mind. I hope that this message can get across to people. As I am an aspiring pharmacist, I do hope to be able to do some kind of research, not necessarily research in a hospital setting, but research in a sense where I can actually have a direct impact on people who suffer from cancer and diseases that are related to cancer, or maybe indirectly caused by some of the cancers or common issues such as high blood pressure or high cholesterol that's plaguing many of our African American communities and minority communities, because in reality, a lot of people don't have the medical knowledge that I guess could say be subsequent, in the sense that a lot of times people don't really make change until it's too late, until the doctor tells them that you might have XYZ wrong with you. And I can say my personal goal as a pharmacist when I do practice is to help people to be able to get to the point where they never have to go to the doctor's office and hear negative terms, because in a lot of senses, now don't get me wrong, some diseases are genetic, but a lot of senses, a lot of the diseases that are plaguing many of our communities can be stopped if people monitor their bodies from a day-to-day basis. And that's something I want to surely focus on as I'm working on it with my mother. And I can definitely say the effects have definitely impacted her in a positive way. So this is just my short video, just giving thanks to the Friends for Life organization. I'm just so grateful for it. Everything that, I'm being honest, words just really can't describe how grateful I am for this scholarship, for the laptop that I got, and it really made my day and my mom's day as well. Thank you, and have a nice day.